Hello. So it's been a while since I've done a stitch with me. I thought I'd do another one. I'll get some block stitching in on Beauty Will Save the World, artwork by Adrian Borda, charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. I'm trying to get this piece to 50% this year, which means I need like 30,000 stitches more. So I'm going to try doing what Stitch Me Sane does and block out and just get those 30,000 in with block stitching. There's a good amount on this piece, so that is the plan. So I don't remember the last time I did a stitch with me. I don't think I did one at all this summer. And sorry, my nails, I've been dying, so they're a funky color. Okay, so what day is it? It's Wednesday. So the weekend. I'll talk about the weekend. Right, so Saturday I always try to do groceries. I get to the grocery store when it opens at 7 a.m. because I'm sure everyone realizes the price of groceries. In our grocery store, I'm sure all of them do this, but like have the 50% off stuff. And there's this couple that comes so early and cleans out the grocery store every weekend. Like all the meat, I don't know who they're feeding, all the cold cuts, just so I get there for 7 just to try to beat this couple and get some stuff as well for a decent price. It's honestly hilarious. And I remember one morning they came with another couple and I almost cried when I looked in their cart. Like there's nothing left in the grocery store half off because they had just taken everything. Anyways, the world we live in. Okay, so I did groceries. Oh yeah, and then we did there's a really good auction website. I think it's in America too. It's called Max Sold. Um it's all online. I don't know if that's because of COVID. I only found it when COVID was going on. So I don't know if it was like live auctions ever, but it's all online. And we won a bunch of stuff, and it was from a town like 30 minutes from us, really far wee town. And like 30 minutes away. So we went, we're driving back, and it's beautiful here right now. Like September is nicer than the summer's been because there's no fires. The air quality is beautiful. It's been in the 20s, so I don't know if that is the 70s Fahrenheit. And it's been gorgeous. So there's the sheep are out, the cows are out, the horses are out, the goats are out, and all these fields because we're really in farm town. And I'm looking out the window and I see this one animal and there's like a hump and I'm like, oh man, is it one of those cows? Like when I went to Costa Rica, they have really humpy cows there. And I was like, oh, is it one of those cows? And then keep on driving. It's a freaking camel. Like I live in Ontario, Canada. There's this camel out in the field grazing. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't a zoo, it was a farm. Like obviously, oh, yeah. I wish I had taken a picture. I was so flabbergasted. And my kids are like 6 and 3, and that age you're like, oh my god, look, and then 30 seconds later they're like, where? It's like, oh my god, we have passed the moment. The moment has passed. They're asking where for like a minute. Anyways, they missed the camel. I saw the camel. My husband saw the camel. It was crazy. Okay, so then yeah, it was gorgeous. So then I was like, okay, we'll go to the park, get some zoomies out. And so we did that. And then I signed us up for family swim at the community center. My eldest she's amazing at doing classes. You sign her up, she's game for anything. It's incredible. My youngest, I signed her up for like swimming lessons. She screamed bloody murder every class. They asked me to leave by the third day because they're like, she's probably going to learn better if you are nowhere to be seen. And she did. But anyways, she's a good swimmer. Like I can tell she can swim. And I was like, "Do you want to do swimming lessons again?" She's like, "No." So I'm like, "Okay, we'll have to go do family swim, and then I'll just swim with you." So I signed us up for swimming, family swim, and it's all going. It was like I'm used to Toronto. You know, I was stressing about where to hide my wallet, my car keys, and oh my gosh, yeah. People in the change room like had their tablets left out, no problem. And there was only 15, 20 people in the public swim. So I decide, oh, this is going to be a great opportunity to show off. Man, I decided to do a backflip in the shallow end, and the crunch, my nose crunched. Oh, here, okay, so warning, as usual, here comes the gore in my Stitch With Me. Okay, so the crunch, my nose hit the floor, and it crunched. Like, I still shudder at the sound, thinking about it now. And I came up, and it's just like gushing. My kids are mortified. Teachable moment there. My kids will probably never dive in the shallow end, ever, after witnessing how idiotic I was doing that. So, like, I try to go to the change room to, like, clean it up. I'm so glad I did my floss tube when I did, because, yeah, it was, what was it, the next day? I decided to be an idiot. Oh yeah, so I had planned the Saturday, and I was like, oh, we're gonna go out to a nice restaurant, blah, blah, blah. It looks like I was so nervous I was gonna have, like, 2 black eyes for this. Oh my gosh, I'm still in shock at how idiotic that was, but, my nose still kills. It kills, but it's not broken. Maybe I fractured it, I don't know. Oh my god. Can you believe that? Trying to show off to a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old? Ugh. Anyways. Yeah, so I can tell my 3-year-old, my 6-year-old Stella's good at swimming. She'll jump, but she'll do classes. She's game for anything. Like, she's gonna be trouble when she's a teenager. Because you're gonna be like, anybody's gonna say, oh, it's a good time. She's like, I'm there. I'm there. She just will do anything. She was in 9 weeks of camp this summer, and even if she didn't like it, she never gave me a hard time. She was ready to try. And then Ivy, I don't know if it's because COVID, she never, like, did people for 2 years. She's skeptical. She doesn't want to do classes of any sort. It's interesting. So I guess I'll just do family swim and teach her myself. This pool isn't so bad. I was having memories of Toronto sludge disgusting pools. But this pool's not bad at all. So I guess we'll just do that. Because I'm not going to force her into classes. That's just traumatizing. It's just a bit of you got to know how to swim. It's like skating. We live in Canada. You got to know how to skate. What else are you going to do for 6 months of the year? We're going to build a skating rink, though. Because skating lessons, my husband's good at skating, so he was into hockey. So we can just teach him, and we're doing a pretty big one in the backyard, so friends can just come over. We have a fire pit, and just, I don't know, be outside freezing, skating. Yay! Yeah, so my eldest was in 9 weeks of camp this summer. She did such a good job. Except, so I put her in sailing camp in Toronto. So that was, it was a good experience. It's just, okay, so we live in the country, like an hour and a half, depending on traffic, out of Toronto. And when her camp was, it was rush hour. So I was like, okay, we'll go to the GO station. I don't know. So we have like trains, all the surrounding cities around Toronto. Um, there's a train you can take that takes you to downtown Toronto. It takes you, anyways. So you can just skip all the crazy traffic. So I parked the car at the our closest GO station, and then we just jumped on the train, and it would take us to Union Station. So that's like by the water, downtown CN Tower, downtown Toronto, and that's where sailing camp was, by the water, right at Harbourfront Center. So um, there's no point in me going back home to then go back to Toronto to pick her up to then go back home. So I still have a bunch of friends, and my parents still live in Toronto, and my grandma and stuff. So I just did like Toronto days while Syl was at camp. And honestly, our summer's been mild, and the forest fires, the air, like, yeah, it wasn't much of a summer. But this one day, of course, at sailing, there was a hot day, hot sunny day, and I had met up with a girlfriend for lunch, and it finished a little bit early. So I was just chilling around Harbourfront. There's like an art gallery there. There's a bunch of studios. There's a lot of stuff to do at Harbourfront. And Stella like sees me and she runs up to me and she's crying. And I'm like, oh my god, what happened? She's like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And her teacher or one of the camp counselors is like, yeah. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh, you do not look good at all. She's like, her lips are white. And I'm like, oh, you have heat stroke. This is good. So, huh. So I'm like, okay, let's get a Gatorade or a Powerade. You gotta just sip on it. And so, okay, so we're at the water. So then we have to take a streetcar into the subway station, into Union Subway Station, which is one of the busiest stations because there's streetcars, there's subways, it's the train terminal that takes you like all over Canada. It's busy. Um, so we have to get on. I'm like, let's just sip on this Powerade and let's get to Union Station. And she's like, I'm gonna throw up. I don't feel good. She looks horrendous. Like the cold sweats and just like no color. And she's sipping this Powerade. So the streetcar, we get to Union Station. And she's like, I need to sit down. I'm gonna throw up. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we sit down Union Station floor. That's pleasant. That's a great floor to sit on. And I don't have any plastic bags because who has freaking plastic bags anymore? No one. I have like fabric tote bags in my bag. Her sailing camp, like I have her towel and clothes. I think, yeah, I did have a hoodie, so I'm holding her beach towel in a tote bag that's mesh. I'm like, it's okay, like, don't worry. And all these people are talking to us. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, okay, Stella, we gotta try to get to the next layer. Because if you go up a couple flights, it goes from the subway to then where the train tracks for like choo-choo trains, not just subway trains, like the choo-choo trains are, which are the GO trains that we need to go on to go to where the car is parked. It's like a 35-minute train ride. And she's like, I can't do it. But I'm like, I can't talk to these Toronto people anymore. We need to go. We need to try to do this. So we get there, we sit, we get a ticket. Amazingly, there is a train in like 2 or 3 minutes because I'm like, I cannot. The train that we need, it comes like every hour. I'm like, I can't sit here for an hour. Like, we got to do this. So I make her run for this train, and I'm like, it's okay. There's bathrooms on the train. This is not a problem. Let's just get on the train. And we're like sprinting. We get on the train. The doors are just about to clothes. I get her to the end with the bathroom, and she just starts vomiting. And the bathroom is out of service. Of course. No one on the train has any plastic bags because we live in that world now. I had my cross stitch travel in one of those big Ziploc bags, but it was one of those freezer Ziploc bags that were like perforated. So I sacrificed a hoodie and oh yeah, she just couldn't stop vomiting. It was gross. So we took the day off the following day, but she went back for the last day and she got her first level sailing certificate. But I don't think I'm going to do that next year. That was a lot of palava for a week of camp. Oh my gosh. I know it was a good experience. So I'm like torn because we don't quite have camps like that where we are. But oh my gosh. So what other camps did she do? She pottery camp. That was amazing. They really did a lot of fun stuff. She likes she's definitely into art, but she likes 3D art the most at the moment. She wants to do everything with clay and Fimo. Is that the stuff you bake? I always call it phyllo pastry, which is obviously not the correct thing. And she's finally learned how to make her own slime. And that was a messy learning experience. It's just glue and like soap detergent, laundry detergent. And the first night, my husband was helping and gave her like Tide, normal Tide. I have unscented Tide, but he gave her the normal stuff. In the whole house, you could barely be in the house. I couldn't get the smell off. Like, it's so pungent. It was horrible. Anyways, now she's got the unscented. It's really cool. We got her all these containers. She's so proud. Keep asking if she wants to give some to friends for birthday presents, but no, she wants them all. And it's my husband's Nana's 90th birthday next weekend. Thanksgiving weekend. Our Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. So that's not this weekend, next weekend. And so we're going all out. Looks like the weather's still going to be absolutely gorgeous. So we have a huge brisket, and we'll do turkey and a salmon, all sorts. I actually did, like, first time in forever, what's it called? Like prep cooking? Yeah, prep cooking, and so nice having the freezer full of just ready to go things. We had a non-denominational? Yeah. I became my girlfriend's son's godmother, but it wasn't religious. And we had the ceremony party at this Argentinian restaurant. Oh my god, the food was insanely amazing. Everything was grilled. So there's nothing deep fried. Everything was very generously salted though. The beef was incredible. The empanadas, the calamari, oh my gosh. But then they had these I don't know what you'd call them. Toppings? Salsa chutneys? I don't know. Well, the chimichurri, that's like parsley amazingness. And luckily my father-in-law had a bunch of Italian parsley, so I made a jar of that. And then this other, it was like raw, nothing was cooked, raw sweet red pepper. I don't know if they had used cayenne, or we only have ghost peppers. My father-in-law's growing ghost peppers, so put a tiny bit of that in and onions, oregano, vinegar. Oh my! And you let it like marinate for a day or two. You just put it on anything. Suddenly, everything becomes so interesting to eat. And I made empanadas too, and I haven't done. I used to make pastry a lot, and I had sort of figured out how to reduce the butter, so you didn't feel like you were dying every time you ate pastry. Um, but in my cookbook, I never wrote those amendments, so I made pastry again for the first time in like a year with the like 2.25 cups of flour and a cup of butter. We're eating these empanadas like, oh, this is the best thing we've ever had. Like, yeah, because there was a cup of butter in what we are eating. But we had, yeah, oh yeah. So the reason why there was empanadas was there's a crazy sale on avocados. I don't know if the cartel is still. The cartel needs to get on more grocery things if everything gets so much cheaper when they're in charge of selling them. But this was like 15 avocados for like $5. But then they all go ripe at the exact same time. So what are you supposed to do? And I didn't know you could freeze avocados. That's news to me. So I just made a massive thing of guac. But I kept all the skins and seeds pits because avocado actually makes a really nice natural dye. So now I have a huge jar, which I've always wanted to do. So check that off the list, as well as making a ton of delicious guacamole. Gosh, I blab. Where have I don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, also, oh yeah, okay, so then I also did dumplings because we went on Saturday, the busy Saturday day. There's a Chinese supermarket beside the restaurant that we were going to. This is all planned strategically. And there's a Valley Village. So I told my husband I'd go into the Valley Village with the girls, and he could do the grocery shop for like I wanted dumpling wrappers, and ground pork is just so much cheaper there, and cilantro and green onions. It's insane how cheap everything is at that grocery store. And also like just the sauces you can't get, and all the different types of noodles and that sort of stuff. So I did a bulk um, dumpling, made like 100 pork dumplings, which I've done in the past. Same with pierogies, but I never successfully freeze them where they don't stick. So I froze them all on baking trays before putting them in Ziploc bags, and I'm hoping that works this time. So it is annoying when they all stick together. So much work. When I bought the dumpling wrappers, they said for dumplings or pierogies, but I always thought you had to have like potato in your pierogi pastry. I don't know. Anyways, I'm excited. I absolutely love dumplings. And the grocery store that I always go to, they used to have these really good ones, and then they got rid of them. And I do not like the new brand they brought in. So I'll just make my own then. No problem. My husband made Guyanese food. Oh, it's so good. It's been a good food week. It's only Wednesday, but you know what I mean. Food few days. My daughter has a musical class tonight. Um, I think she'd be good at theater. So they're just learning dancing and singing and talking, and it's really cute. Oh, I also got Halloween costumes. I thought I was gonna make them, but when we were at Valley Village, they fell in love with some. So win, win. My eldest is gonna be a like sugar skeleton, and my youngest found this cape that is this cool rainbow dragon, so she can wear nice warm clothes. I'm always worried about that. Like, you have to be warm, right? Because it's usually raining and gross on Halloween here. So they both picked. Well, Stella got like these skeleton pajamas. I figure you can just layer up and then put because they're a couple sizes too big. And then Ivy can wear like even a jacket and everything with this cape on top. I'm so happy not to have to make a costume, I'll be honest. I thought Ivy initially said she wanted to be Yellow Monster, and Stella wanted to be a cop, but she found this blue wig, and that's a must apparently. And I couldn't like remember anyone who has blue hair really for kids' costumes. So I was just like, oh, if we put a bunch of roses or big flowers in your hair and the scale, you sort of look like a sugar skull. So she was down. Thank goodness. Yeah. So I'm just gonna finish. What am I at? 26 minutes. Holy blabbing. That's crazy. I don't really know. Oh, so Stella's lost her two front teeth, and it's picture day in next week. Yeah, next week. So that should be good. She'll put the tooth in this little cushion thing for the tooth fairy, and I saw this cute hack on Pinterest to like put a few sparkles like on like a path for the tooth, so it looks like more magical or something, right? So I had like remembered, oh, the tooth, and it was like 2 or 3 a.m. I was like, oh my god. So I'm trying to keep everything dark, right? I'm trying to look subtly for this tooth. I have this shaker, and the kids sort of know sparkles drive their dad mental, just trying to clean them up. They are savage. So we don't really do sparkles too much in the house. Um, which works for this, because then it seems even more legit that it's the tooth fairy. But I couldn't see, right? I couldn't even tell if it was like shaking out. I'm like trying to look close. There was no moon out. I couldn't see it, right. So in the morning, Stella goes to my husband like, "Oh man, mom's gonna be so mad at the tooth fairy." And I like emptied it. Looked like a tooth fairy exploded. It was this little mountain of sparkles. Oh my god, it's this little yeah, mound. It wasn't so subtle at all. But so now where I have 4 of her teeth. She's lost 6 so far. I have 4. 2 of them though, I did that soccer ball. You tie the dental floss around the tooth and tie it to a soccer ball and like kick the soccer ball, and the tooths are missing in the house. They went flying. She lost one at school, and then the other, I like do the dental floss, but I just pull it against the window so you can sort of see where it bounces off. Because oh my god, yeah, her first tooth, it's in the disaster toy box. When I saw it like fly in there, I cannot bring myself to go through that toy box looking for a tiny, tiny tooth. And then the other one, our house is so old, the like floorboards, it went down one of the floorboards, like the cracks in the floorboards. So I think it's in the basement somewhere. So that's never getting found either. Oh well, oh well. I have 4. Do they even stay? Remember when your parents used to put them in like film canisters? Yeah, it makes me miss film canisters. That was handy. Luckily, still lost one at school, and they have this like tooth box. So now I'm keeping them all in this tooth shaped box, which is super cute. So I'll just finish up here, and then I'll mark off how many stitches we got done. I hope everyone else is having a fantastic September. This is definitely the most beautiful one I can remember in a long time. So I'm enjoying every second. Sorry, I just realized this is a little bit shaky. Hopefully this hasn't been too shaky. Last one. Alright. There we go. So, how many stitches? We got nope. Nope. Oh, it's gonna take forever. We got lots of stitches. If I were to guess, I could, no, I can't do that. Let's see. Almost all filled in. Okay, let's just see how many that is. I'd say like 320, 330 stitches. And 30 minutes. Awesome. Thank you so much. This was fun. Hopefully I'll do another one soon. Everyone enjoy the rest of your September, and we'll talk soon. Bye.